When taking the MSTEP practice assessment, you will be assigned to utilize either a Chromebook or a desktop computer. If you're assigned in a classroom using the Chromebook, once you've received your assigned Chromebook, please open the Chromebook lid carefully. Allow it time to power up properly. As it's powering up, eventually it will go out and look for the wireless network. Give it time and then sign in to your email address. Once you've signed in, it's going to launch Google. It'll load ad blocker and give you your bookmarks. Click on the Godwin Schools bookmarks and go to Google Classroom. Be sure to use the assigned Google Classroom. 8th graders will utilize Mr. Daldos's U.S. History. 7th grade students will use Mrs. Rauschi's Project-Based Learning class. And 5th and 6th graders will utilize Mrs. Urbanski's Technology class. The second type of device you might be using for the practice MSTEP test is a desktop computer in one of our computer labs. If you're assigned to a desktop computer, the first thing you want to do is open Chrome. Once you open Chrome, in the upper right-hand corner you'll notice 3 bars. We refer to those 3 bars as the hamburger. Click on the hamburger button and choose Settings. Once the Settings tab opens, you want to sign into your Chrome profile. Click on Sign into Chrome, and when the sign-in box appears, be sure to type your entire school-issued email address as well as your password. When you click Sign In, Chrome is going to ask you if you'd like to link your data. If you link your data, it will bring across your bookmarks, which will allow you to easily access Google Classroom. Now it's going to give you a message letting you know you have signed into Chrome. It will launch any apps that you may use, such as ad blocker as you see in the classroom. Once it has finished launching the apps, you'll notice that you have your bookmarks toolbar at the top of the page. We're going to go to the s.godwinschools.org bookmarks, and you can easily access Google Classroom. It does not matter if you're on a Chromebook or a computer at this time, the instructions will be exactly the same. Be sure to use the assigned Google Classroom. Once you log into the assigned teacher's Google Classroom, you'll notice an assignment titled MSTEP Practice Test. By opening up this assignment, it will give you all parts of the MSTEP test as well as the survey. Click on the Open button and Google Classroom will create a copy of the MSTEP practice test for you. Once it's created this copy, simply click to open that Google document. You'll notice at the top that it has taken this MSTEP practice test and assigned your first and last name after it. You will click on step number 1. You'll click on the word Here to go and take the 20-question practice test. Click on Here, then click on the link, and a third tab will open with the Michigan Department of Education practice test. Where it says Spring 2015 Preview, click on the word Here, and then click here to sign in. It'll launch a sign-in screen for you. They're giving you a generic username and password. Simply repeat the username and password information. Click Sign In. The next screen will have some generic information. Simply click Continue and then select the Spring 15 Preview Test. Then click on the Begin the Test button. This tutorial video will take you through how to use the tools available to you in this test. If at any point in time you have questions, there's always going to be a Help button. Simply click on the question mark. If you open the Help, it will give you information on using Help, what's this. There's also a section on test directions and how to answer certain types of questions. The first hint is to help you use the cross-off button in eliminating answers for your question. The cross-off button tool is right next to your pointer tool. It will allow you to select and cross off any answers that you don't believe to be true. To undo your cross-off action, simply click on that answer again. When you're done with that, go back to the pointer tool and choose the answer that you want to. Another option that they have is if you're unsure about this question and would like to revisit it later, you have the flag option. By flagging a question, it's going to put a special indicator that will help you come back to this question later. Another useful tool is the sticky note. Sometimes you may want to take notes or calculations on the side of your paper. Because we're on a computer screen, they allow you the option of using a sticky note. You click on the sticky note button and choose a new sticky note. You can drag the sticky note anywhere you want on the page, and you can type in your information into the box. When you're done with the sticky notes, if you'd like it removed from the page to kind of clean things up, you can ask it to hide the sticky notes. If you're asked to create a graph at any point in time during the test, by simply using your pointer tool and clicking on the graph, it will fill in the bar. If you make mistakes as you're taking the test, it has an erase button. Sometimes there might be a question that has more than one correct answer. For example, in this question, if I believed that 3/6 was represented in multiple ways, I could choose the fraction 3/6 on the left-hand side and click on the answer that I believe it is on the right-hand side. If I think there is more than one correct answer, then I can choose more than one answer. If there was a mistake made, simply click on the undo button, or to erase all answers and start over again, click on the Reset All eraser. Some questions may require you to drag items. If I click and drag, I'm simply going to click on the item that I want and drag it where I want on the screen. If I realize that I've made a mistake, I can simply drag it off of the screen, or I can reset the question to clear all answers. Some questions may require multiple tasks. Be sure to read the question carefully. If you prefer to have a line guide as you're reading lengthy questions, there's a line guide tool. Simply click on the line guide button and you'll notice a blue drag down bar. You can drag it down as you're reading. When you're ready to select your answer, simply take your mouse over the answer box and click to choose the correct answer. There are some safety features embedded in the test. You'll notice for this question, they're asking you to choose two notes that support the student's opinion. You'll notice once I select two answers, if I try to select a third, it will give me a message letting me know that I've already chosen my two answers. If I realize I selected the incorrect answer, I can simply click on that answer to deselect it and then choose the answer that I wish to have. At times you will be reading text on one side of the screen and responding to answers on the opposite side of the screen. If I'm struggling with reading the text, meaning the print is too small, there is also a zoom tool you can utilize to magnify the screen. When I magnify the screen, you'll notice that you have a right-hand scroll bar and a bottom scroll bar to allow you to go up and down and right to left on the screen. Once you've finished with this tool and you no longer need it, simply click on the magnifier again to turn it off. Be sure when they give you a reading passage to make sure you read the entire passage. For this example, you'll notice at the bottom they're letting us know there is more text below this line. You'll also notice there is a scroll bar on the right-hand side. If I want to use the line guide tool to help me as I'm reading, I can simply turn the line guide tool on and drag it down as I read. If I need to zoom in, I can turn on the magnifying glass and zoom in a little bit better to be able to read the selection. Once I'm done with this part of the screen, over on the right-hand side is where I'm needing to respond to the question. I'm going to turn my magnifier off. If I need to use the line guide over on my answer side of my screen, I can simply drag the line guide over to the other side of the test. One last feature is the options button down on the bottom. If you click on the option, for some people the white background with the black text is harsh on their eyes. Don't waste a lot of time getting caught up in the options in the tools. Remember that your primary focus is the test and choosing the correct answers. Now that we're done with the test, we're going to click on Review and Test. They'll bring you to a summary screen where they let you know about the different types of questions that you took and if you've completed all of them. Any questions that you may have flagged initially will have a flag next to them. If you'd like to go back and review that question, simply click on the question number and it will take you back to that question. At any point in time, you can click Review and Test and go back to the summary screen. If a response was requiring 2 answers, they will also let you know if you completely answered the question. Fully answered multiple choice questions will be shaded in ovals, and filled in constructed responses will be filled in squares. If they're unshaded, it means you still have some work to complete. When you've completely finished, you can click End Test and then End Test again. After completing the MSTEP portion of the test, you'll need to return back to that document you received from Google Classroom, the MSTEP practice test document. Move on to step number 2. We have a quick survey for you to complete to let us know your input on the MSTEP test. Simply click on the Here button and the Google link within the document. Be sure to complete the entire survey, clicking Submit at the end. Once you've finished your survey, return back to the MSTEP practice test document. Now you'll complete the third part of this practice test. This will be an endurance writing. Depending on your grade level, the topic will be different. It could be a compare and contrast, an argumentative writing, or any other writing option. To move on to the third portion of the test, you'll scroll down to the next page within your Google document. It will give you any instructions. For example, this 8th grade writing is going to be a decision-making or an argumentative writing where you state a position. Be sure to look at all of the data they're giving you before you begin your writing. You can use any tools for organizing your data before you actually begin the writing. Sometimes they may include tables and graphs and background information. Make sure you're looking at all of the content before you begin.